Jurgen Klopp has guided Liverpool to the top of the Premier League and on a significant unbeaten run, ended only by Watford in the season after the side won the Champions League. Liverpool are an excellent example of the chemistry required to form a really successful side. They are a club that understands recruitment and support staff, which acquires excellent players and blends them together under a coach with a philosophy agile enough to be adapted on a match-by-match basis. Klopp himself is, of course, a big part of this. Having developed his coaching approach and philosophy first at Mainz, and then at Borussia Dortmund, he favours a direct style, played with intensity and pace, and defined by pressing and counter-pressing, which he has described as the best playmaker in football. And he's brought in coaches to give his team an edge, perhaps most notably using Thomas Gronemark as a specialist throw-in coach. He's also a charismatic presence, capable of inspiring the kind of selfless collective effort required for his intense style of football. He's good at adapting his tactics to mitigate weaknesses. Lacking the sort of creative passes he had at Dortmund, he has instead developed his fullbacks Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold into playmakers. He's adjusted the pressing intensity of the side in key matches to pace the team's trajectory through the season, and he's honed a front three that is equal to or even the superior of the top sides in world football. Behind the scenes, Michael Edwards and his transfer committee have harnessed the use of data and analytics as well as anyone, and arguably achieved buy-in for those ideas within the club and its owners Fenway Sports Group better than any other analytics team in the Premier League. Good data-driven recruitment only works if the benefits can be communicated to the receptive manager, coaching staff and ownership structure, but Edwards has achieved this. His many successes, including Roberto Firmino, Andy Robertson and Virgil van Dijk, outweigh his less successful purchases. And even players like Dominic Solanke could still be argued to have been excellent value, having been sold for a vast profit to Bournemouth. So it's no surprise then that recruitment has worked well for Liverpool, as has, to a lesser degree, the pipeline to the first team, although much of Liverpool's senior squad has also been available for most games, and so the use of reserves has been limited. The bulk of the squad has been put together over the last 3 seasons. Looking at players who've started 20 or more games for Liverpool this season, it's possible to see that while a few have been around since before 2016-17, from then on, 2 or 3 key figures were brought in each year. Add to this the resurgent Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain signed from Arsenal for just under £35 million, Fabinho, the Monaco utility player turned defensive midfielder who cost £40 million, and even James Milner and Joel Matip, snapped up for free from Manchester City and Schalke in 2015 and 2016 respectively. Liverpool have made astute signings that have added to the squad in key areas at the right time, and they haven't splurged and brought in too many players in key roles in one go. Where they have spent serious money, it's been on players like Van Dijk and Alisson, arguably in the top 3 in their positions in the world. The age profile and experience of the squad is good too. 5 players had Premier League experience before joining, in some instances relatively inexpensively from relegated teams, and the others came from top 5 European leagues with experience of Champions League football. The exception is Alexander-Arnold, but as a Liverpool youth player, he fitted seamlessly into the squad and system. That system is, of course, what makes Liverpool tick on the pitch. A great group of players without a plan is useless, just as a great plan without the players is. Liverpool have recruited with Klopp's style and requirements in mind. They've generally played a 4-3-3, although Klopp has at times used a 4-2-3-1, generally to help doubling up defensively in the wide areas. Most often, Liverpool play with a narrow, compact midfield and forward line, with the progressive attacking fullbacks Robertson and Alexander-Arnold providing width and thrust. Firmino will drop off, while if Naby Keita or Oxlade-Chamberlain are available, they push up between the lines to augment the Liverpool attack. Now, the team's pressing system is well understood, and it's still a very effective means of attacking or counter-attacking from winning possession back. But this season, Liverpool have also blended this modern approach with a more direct, functional style of football that could almost be considered old-fashioned. With the addition of Van Dijk and the reliability of Alisson's passing from goalkeeping positions, Liverpool have added even more directness to their game. And this results in several interesting facets of play. Firstly, Liverpool play quite a lot of long diagonal passes to the wide areas, either looking for one of the 2 wide players pulling towards the touchline, the fullback pushing on, or even a runner from midfield. Van Dijk to Salah is a frequent route, but Liverpool will try various options. Their 3rd goal against Southampton this season at home was a fine example. Alisson stroked a clearance out to the right-hand side of Liverpool's attack. Firmino, running back, pulled a Southampton defender with him, which allowed Jordan Henderson to collect the ball in space. He then angled a pass inside to the run of Salah, who finished tidily. Direct, latching onto a diagonal pass in the wide channel, using runs to create space, it was a hugely economical attacking move that required only 2 passes and 3 touches. Liverpool also liked to open up the opposing wide area, switching the play with long crossfield passes rather than shuttling the ball across, as would be more often the case in a possession-based side. These passes often go from fullback to fullback, pinged long across the pitch into the air into space that the opposite fullback can attack, and it again relies a lot on pace and the directness of the approach catching teams out. They can't shuffle across as you might defend a series of passes into space, and the sudden opening of the opposite flank creates space inside for runners to attack the cross. Lastly, Liverpool will also hit long balls forwards, especially towards Firmino dropping in, and then mop up the second ball or win it back with intense pressing. This fits more with Klopp's gegenpressing style, but the use of long balls to create opportunities to win turnovers from pressing is an interesting mix of a more old-fashioned direct approach and Liverpool's high-energy, very modern pressing game. It's something that Ralph Hasenhüttl and Roger Schmidt have also used effectively. The development of the 2 young fullbacks has largely created these options too. The long crossfield passes and the diagonal balls from the back, also facilitated by Van Dijk and Alisson joining the club, are functions of how good Alexander-Arnold and Robinson are in their roles. Wijnaldum's slightly more attacking role also works because Alexander-Arnold can push up and tuck into cover. This frees the Dutch midfielder to attack the box with late runs and has resulted in a number of goals in recent months. Liverpool do still play a lot like they have done under Klopp up to this season. Firmino dropping off to feed runs inside from Salah and Mane, pressing, and a relatively functional midfield. Indeed, Liverpool would likely play between the lines more if and when Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain can play regularly. But in their absence, Klopp's decisions make sense. They have added additional approaches, some very direct, while retaining their identity and Klopp's philosophy. And this is what makes Liverpool great. A squad assembled with thought and skill, working under a coach who retains his overall approach but is flexible enough to adapt. All supported by a number of smart decision makers off the pitch and progressive coaches. It's a blend that other clubs would do well to emulate.